overview of the matchup tonight. Number one offense in terms of points per game. New England averaging 31.9. Number one defense in terms of allowing the fewest, 14.5. The Packers, one of those key Green Bay defenders, second-year linebacker Clay Matthews. Just moments ago, he spoke with Andrea Kramer.
Well, Al, Tom Brady is playing some of the best football of his career, and the Patriots have been lighting it up against some of the league's top defenses. So, Clay, what are the things you guys have to do tonight to keep Brady under control?
We need to make this game one-dimensional. We need to shut down the run, get him off the spot when he's back there. He doesn't like throwing interception, but that's what we need to do, get pressure on him and have our DBs take this game over.
Obviously, no Aaron Rodgers. Matt Flynn makes his first NFL start. Is this a situation where the defense feels you have to win it tonight?
We always feel that way, but there is some extra emphasis tonight. We have all the confidence in the world in Matt, and we know he's going to do a heck of a job as well as the defense.
All right, Clay, thanks very much. Appreciate it. And Al, speaking of Matt Flynn, his dad, Alvin, himself a college quarterback at Baylor, is here tonight. Now, he never missed a game or a practice of Matt's in middle school or high school. Matt said his dad's final reminder to him, there's going to be adversity tonight. It's all about how you respond to it.
Flynn family is here. They're from Tyler, Texas, home of Earl Campbell, the Tyler Rose. Very interestingly, Green Bay won the toss, and Mike McCarthy elected to defer, which means he wants to put his defense out there first tonight. And Mason Crosby will kick off for Green Bay. Brandon Tate, who has 2 runbacks for touchdowns this season and is averaging a sparkling 26.3 per return. Back to receiving. They're going to start it with an onside kick. And Green Bay almost came up with it initially at the 47-yard line. And they do. After it was bobbled at first, Nick Collins comes up with the football. So Mike McCarthy deferring, and then Collins able to come up with the recovery.
Well, now we know he wanted to kick off first, and they definitely caught him by surprise. James Sanders on that side, you could see him begin to move back with his blocking responsibilities, and it was just an absolutely perfect onside kick. And for the Packers, this is the way they're going to have to win.
So
the ball was legally touched beyond 10 yards. There was no foul on the play. The ball was recovered by Green Bay. First down.
Ed Hockley. Mike McCarthy, what a way to start the game. And so Flynn will start with a much shorter field.
Well, it's essentially like getting to start both halves now with the football. So you take one possession away from Tom Brady already, and it's exactly the formula. It's the same sort of thing the Saints did in the Super Bowl. Sometimes you just have to steal a possession.
And take a look at that. Don Mikowski got hurt in '92. Brett Favre took over. And then, of course, Favre all the way through '07. Rodgers has started every game since early '08. So the first backup quarterback to start for the Packers in 18 years. And he'll go right to the air and throw it over the middle and completes his first pass. It'll be a short game for Jones, who gets slung out of bounds by Sanders. It's a gain of 4. Let's take a look at the Green Bay starters.
Matt Flynn, LSU.
Brandon Jackson, Nebraska.
Greg Jennings, Western Michigan.
Donald Driver, Alcorn State.
Andrew Qualis, Penn State.
Tom Crabtree, Miami University.
Chad Clifton, Tennessee.
Darren College, Boise State.
Scott Wells, Tennessee.
Josh Sutton, UCF.
Brian Bulaga, Iowa.
Brian Bulaga, first-round pick in this year's draft. And they give the ball to Brandon Jackson, and Jackson's going to fight for close to a first down. Might have it. Devin McCourty with a rib injury, and he was somewhat questionable coming into the game. Active tonight and makes the tackle.
Well, let's face it, the Green Bay Packers offensively were humiliated last week against the Detroit Lions. This offensive line had one of the worst games that I've seen. This offense, one of the worst. Andrew Corliss working on the outside, going to get this edge block. But for the Packers, it's about redemption tonight for that performance.
Their running back now is Dimitri Nance from the 42-yard line, and this is Nance. And when you look at the Packers and Nance fighting and picking up about 3, let's take a look at that New England defense, which has gotten a lot better lately.
Brandon Dedrick, Crimson Tide.
Vince Wilfork, University of Miami.
Gerard Warren, University of Florida.
Rob Ninkovich,
Purdue University.
Gerard Mayo, Tennessee.
Gary Guyton, Georgia Tech.
Jermaine Cunningham, the U, University of Florida.
Devin McCourty, Rutgers.
James Sanders, Fresno State.
Brandon Merriweather, proud father of Morgan Merriweather.
Kyle Arrington, Hofstra.
You went to Florida. Did you ever call it the U?
University of Florida, sure.
Okay. I'll make sure I had some validation here. 2nd and 6. This is Jackson picking up 3, getting the ball to the 35-yard line. The Packers, remember, had Ryan Grant last couple of years, one of the better running backs in the league, but he got hurt in the opener, and so it's been mainly Jackson with some supplemental help along the way here.
Well, over the years, the defensive line of the Patriots has been the key to this defense in my mind. Vince Wilfork, traditionally a nose tackle, has been moving all over the place, but they have gotten rid of a lot of great defensive linemen, but they still have the cornerstone.
Aaron Rodgers inactive tonight, but they brought him on the trip, and he was out tossing some passes to his receivers in pregame. I'm sure the doctors were watching, but not cleared medically to play tonight. And this is John Kuhn, and Kuhn will get the first down as he takes the ball to the 30-yard line. Packers convert on the 3rd and 3 and have a first down at New England's 30-yard line.
Well, all this has got started with this onside kick, and watch the players. They're told first and foremost, make sure there's no onside kick, but for James Sanders, sometimes you just can't help yourself. You want to kind of lean back to give yourself a jump start to make that block. And for the Packers, what a start to this one.
Great second move by Collins. He had it initially, and then he lost the ball, and he was able to come back and get it. Ball at the 30-yard line, out of the shotgun. Here's Flynn. Stepping back, sets up the screen for Jackson, but he has no help there, and is taken down by Mayo. For Flynn, he is used to a spotlight, not necessarily the National Football League spotlight, but he led LSU into the BCS title game following the 07 season under Les Miles. LSU took on Ohio State, and he was so good in that game that he was the offensive MVP. Then the Packers drafted him in the 7th round in 08 after Favre was sent to the Jets, and he was the second quarterback that Green Bay drafted that year. They drafted Brian Brom in the 5th round, but Flynn beat him out for the backup role. 2nd and 7 with the ball at the 27-yard line. And you've got a timeout now taken by Green Bay with the clock running down. Timeout. 2nd and 7 when we come back. Here in Foxborough, 2nd down and 7 after the timeout. Off the play fake, throwing over the middle, and the pass is caught by Donald Driver for a first down at the 11-yard line. 12th year out of Alcorn State, still going strong. Driver.
Got this run formation here, and they're going to fake it across. Watch the linebacker step up, and then there it is, room underneath because of the run fake. And how about Matt Flynn coming out here and just looking like ho-hum, it's another game. I played for the national championship. I'm not nervous playing the Patriots.
1st and 10. Flynn starts 3 of 3 for 23 yards. Here's Jackson. Chugging his way to the 8-yard line. That Patriot defense, they were ranked near the bottom of the league in so many categories around midseason. And then they really began to get it going. And look at that, over the last 9 quarters, just 1 touchdown allowed. You go back to halftime in Detroit on Thanksgiving Day, then the 45-3 rout of the Jets here, and then last week's demolition of Chicago. And that defense has been very, very good. 2nd and 6. Flynn spreads them out. Patriots blitz. Flynn can't get away. Tackled at the 13. Eric Moore comes in. They just picked him up a couple of weeks ago. He played in the United Football League, and he's already made an impact in his 2 games as a Patriot.
Eric Moore is just going to double team basically on Chad Clifton. They had somebody coming inside, somebody coming outside, and that may have been Flynn's first mistake of the night. You've got to realize there are going to be times that you're not picked up in that spread formation. The minute he saw that look, he had to get rid of the football. Mistake number 1.
3rd and 12. Spread them out again. Blitz coming again. And Flynn has to get that one away and out of bounds. The Patriots probably blitz as little as any team in the league, but in this situation you can see Belichick with Flynn looking hot on the first drive, 3 for 3, putting a little heat on early.
Well, and the other thing is he's looking a little bit nervous back there. He's starting to get a little bit of happy feet. When you're going these spread looks, you got to just throw the football. You got to see it and throw it. You don't have time to dance around. Bill Belichick's going to come after him hard now.
31-yard attempt now for Mason Crosby. Wind almost no factor. On this chilly night, the kick is good. So they recover the onside kick and get 3 to take the lead. 3-0 Packers.
Might have to go to that onside kick cam right here. Just make sure don't get another one of those.
But right now the Patriots have 6 guys up at the 45-yard line. And this time a conventional kick is fielded by Tate. He gets spilled at the 27-yard line by Dyrell Briggs. Brady on the field for the first time tonight. Tom Brady, last interception, go back to week 6, 268 passes, 3rd longest single season streak in the history of the league. Bernie Kosar with a mark of 286, playing for Belichick at Cleveland in 91. They begin on the ground with Jarvis Green-Ellis up to the 31-yard line, tackled by Matthews. Let's take a look at the Patriot offense.
Tom Brady, Michigan.
And Jarvis Green-Ellis, Ole Miss.
Wes Welker, Texas Tech.
Deion Branch, Louisville.
Algie Crumpler, North Carolina.
Rob Gronkowski, University of Arizona.
Matt Light, Purdue University.
Logan Mankins, Fresno State.
Dan Copen, Boston College.
Dan Conley, Southeast Missouri.
Sebastian Ballmer, University of Houston.
Danny Woodhead is in the backfield now as Brady takes it out of the gun, and that pass is incomplete. Intended for a Welker, and that's Charles Woodson. Slot corner covering on the play. It'll be 3rd down and 5, 7 minutes into the game.
Well, you don't get a much better matchup to watch on television than this one right here. Charles Woodson, the rating MVP, defensive MVP against Wes Welker, and look at him. That's the route Welker loves, that little in and out route, and Woodson said, I'm just going to sit back here and wait on you. That one may well end up being one of the keys to the game.
Now they have 3 receivers to the left on 3rd down and 5. Break that formation as Welker sets up on the other side. And Brady fires over the middle, and that's Rob Gronkowski, the rookie, into Packer territory, out of bounds at the 44-yard line. What an impact he has made. The last time we saw him on a Sunday night in Pittsburgh, he had 3 touchdowns. That's a gain of 25 for Gronkowski.
I think Gronkowski deserves a little Pro Bowl consideration. Nick Collins had him coming down out of the center field area, but he never got within about 10 yards of him, and that was just too easy. And on the outside, big good-looking tackle, Sebastian Vollmer finishing off Clay Matthews.
On 1st down from the 43-yard line, Brady feeling the pressure and then getting it from behind is B.J. Raji, the nose tackle. Raji, their #1 pick last year and coming home, played his college football at Boston College.
And he beat Logan Mankins, who I think's the best of these Patriots offensive linemen. Right here he is. Mankins had him for a second, and then Raji, just big, strong young man, good coverage down the field, and Raji able to get there.
Brady, as brilliant as he's been over the past couple of weeks in particular, sacked 6 times in the last 2 games, and they get to him on the first series tonight. 2nd down and 17. Green Bay playing that base 3-4 for Don Capers. They clock all the way down. Brady stepping up again to buy time, throws, and it's almost intercepted by Woodson. The 2 of them went to the University of Michigan together in the late 90s. Woodson would win the Heisman Trophy there, and he had that one in his grasp, falling to the ground. 3rd down.
And of course, the infamous tuck rule over the years that's been so discussed. It was Woodson that had that sack, and boy, wouldn't he have loved to have come up with that one. against his old teammate. And I tell you, if you are the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers is not here, those are plays you simply have to make to have a chance to win this one.
3rd and 17. Three-man rush. Line does its job, and then the pass is caught close to a first down. Deion Branch, he signals first down. We'll see about the official. Sam Shields with the coverage. He needed 17 and gets 17, first down.
Well, it's no surprise they're going after Sam Shields on the outside, a converted wide receiver playing the cornerback position now, but you're going to give Tom Brady that much time with a three-man rush. He's going to pick you apart. I thought that the general idea tonight for the Packers was to bring some pressure. That time they went the other way, and it cost them big.
Branch started his career with the Pats and got traded back from Seattle. Here's Green Ellis inside the 20. BenJarvus, Green Ellis, touchdown. .33 yards, and Branch with a good block.
First of all, Logan Mankins, let's start there. He's going to pull out and around, and he's going to end up, I believe, on Clay Matthews with a key block. Now, A.J. Hawkey gets there. But anytime you see a big run by the New England Patriots, more often than not, Wes Welker has a big block, and he got one there too.
He got there, and Branch buries a defensive back. 33-yard run is the longest of Green Ellis's career. Shane Graham for the point after, and with 6:19 remaining in the quarter. New England on top, 7-3. It's a short kick. It floats into the arms of Sam Shields at the 16-yard line. He brings it to the 31-yard line, so they had first down to the 33. And take a look at these two blocks.
Well, Wes Welker, to me, is the equivalent of Hines Ward on the New England Patriots. He is going to get Pepper pinned inside, and then on the backside, Deion Branch on Tramon Williams just buries him. These Patriots receivers block like it's an honor to play on the Patriots football team, and BenJarvus, Green Ellis, a handshake, but this is the one that set it up. Charles Woodson, the reigning defensive MVP, dropped a sure interception. It led to 7 points.
Kept that Brady interception streak alive, and slipping down is Nance. He had so many things going on in that series. You had Woodson dropping a sure pick. You had a 3rd and 17 where Branch got exactly 17. And then you had Branch and Welker throwing the blocks to spring Green Ellis on the longest run of his career. So they got Branch back from Seattle after they traded Randy Moss to Minnesota. How'd that work out? Moss goes to Minnesota, and New England's going to get a 3rd-round pick in the next draft out of Minnesota's basket. 2nd and 10 from the 32-yard line. And Flynn will air it out for Jones, and it's incomplete. Covered well by McCourty. Got his hands on it. Couldn't haul it in. It'll be 3rd and 10.
Well, if Ndamukong Suh is not the defensive rookie of the year, this guy will be. Devin McCourty, for my money, has been the biggest difference on this football team. They simply had to find a cornerback this season. They held out. They actually could have drafted Clay Matthews, but they traded with the Green Bay Packers for the pick, end up with Devin McCourty. Worked out for both teams.
McCourty leads the team with 6 interceptions. 3rd and 10. Flynn had him by the shirt, gets it away, and it's a short gain. Andrew Corliss making the catch, but it's 4th down for Green Bay, and they'll punt.
I don't know what you do with Vince Wilfork, to tell you the truth. This guy has just been borderline unblockable for the most part. We all know what he does against the run. Now against the Green Bay Packers, because they've shut down the run so easily and the Packers are struggling so much running the football, he can rush the passer and look out.
Tim Mastay to punt. Julian Edelman's been doing a pretty good job lately running back kicks. Calls for a fair catch, and then there is contact but with his own man, has to go back to the 8-yard line to recover it back there. It looked like Jared Bush made contact with him. Here comes Ed Hockley. There's a flag on the field, so let's see what Ed has to say about this one.
Tell you what, we saw this one earlier today. If this is deemed as a block in the back that led to this contact, it'll be a free ball, and if the Packers got on it, it'll be the Packers football. This is the exact situation we saw earlier today.
Here's Hockley.
There is no foul with kick-catch interference because the defender was blocked into him. The ball was recovered by New England.
So the Patriots are able to recover deep in their own territory to keep possession. Well, Commissioner Roger Goodell spoke with Bob Costas on the pregame show here tonight. And there's Bob Kraft and Jonathan Kraft and Myra Kraft, camera left there, looking on from the owner's box as New England takes over after what is now ruled as a 58-yard punt overall back at the 9-yard line. And Green Ellis will get nowhere. It'll be 2nd and 10 as we meet the Green Bay defensive starters.
Ryan Pickett, The Ohio State University.
B.J. Raji, BC.
Howard Green, LSU.
Clay Matthews, USC.
A.J. Hawk, The Ohio State University.
Desmond Bishop, San Francisco City College.
Eric Walden, Middle Tennessee State.
Charles Woodson, University of Michigan.
Charlie Pepper, Alabama.
Nick Collins, Bethune-Cookman.
Tramon Williams, Louisiana Tech.
Williams really having a good year. 2nd and 10. Doing an excellent job outside. It'll be 3rd down and 10. Clay Matthews put the heat on. Remember, that's a defense that has limited the opposition to less than 15 points a game, fewest points per game in the league.
And watch Matthews come on a stunt back inside here. Clay Matthews is going to have a big-time game. That time the Packers came out in man-to-man coverage. They feel like that they can jump up and pressure these receivers of the Patriots and let Clay Matthews have a little more time to get after Brady.
3rd and 10. They go 4 wide with Danny Woodhead flanking Brady in the backfield. 3-man rush. Brady throws. That's caught. And they get another 1st down on the 3rd and long to Aaron Hernandez. You saw Gronkowski before. He is a rookie tight end. So is Hernandez. And how often will you see a team draft 2 rookie tight ends, and both have been very productive?
Everybody would if they knew what these two were going to do. Aaron Hernandez, I think, is one of the best route running tight ends in the game. And Tom Brady, boy, you give him that kind of a little sliver of openness, he's not going to miss that one. Another big 3rd down conversion.
Now they go with both tight ends in this set and hand the ball off to Danny Woodhead, who's become a sudden star here, the former New York Jet. They let him go. And then the Patriots picked him up before the Jets game in week 2. And a lot of people said, oh, yeah, they're just bringing him in here so they can get a little bit more reconnaissance, debriefing and all that. As it turns out, Kevin Falk, who had that role, Falk gets hurt in that 2nd game, gone for the season, and now Woodhead's become a star.
And he is the matchup nightmare that Dom Capers, the defensive coordinator, was talking about. We'll get into that more.
2nd down and 4. Woodhead again. Big hole. Sprints through it. Tackled at the 41-yard line by Woodson. Danny Woodhead, 5'8", maybe. Some think he's like 5'6" and 3/4, 195, but at Chadron State in Nebraska, 14 yards.
Well, here's what happens. You end up with all these defensive backs on the field, and you bring Woodhead in, who can play receiver or running back. You don't have enough bodies to match up. Look at the size of that hole. That's what the issue is.
Brady going quickly now as Danny Woodhead carries once more, tackled by Desmond Bishop up at the 44-yard line.
And then if you bring your linebackers in to stop the running game of Danny Woodhead, they'll flank him out, put him in motion, then you end up with a one-on-one against Danny Woodhead and a linebacker, and you're dead there too. So that's the matchup that is really going to be a tough one for the Packers tonight.
2nd and 8, Green Ellis back in the backfield. Oh, you got action on the left side there. Matt Light.
False start offense, number 72. 5-yard penalty. It's 2nd down.
Started a dance step before the snap. Last 5 games, 5-0, beginning with that Sunday nighter in Pittsburgh. No turnovers, longest streak in the history of the NFL without giving it up. There's Brady, 15 TDs, no interceptions. And they beat some good teams. I mean, the Steelers, the Colts, the Jets, the Bears, the Lions, of course, going to another group, but they haven't been walking over bums. In the last 2 weeks, they killed the Jets in Chicago back-to-back. On 2nd and 13, and that's caught by Welker, and Woodson is right there before West, who gets a lot of yardage after the catch, can take off with this one.
Boy, what a play by Charles Woodson here. This is one of the toughest plays for a corner. Going to go in motion basically with Wes Welker, so you know it's man coverage. Sees the quick screen before the lineman can get out there to block him. Woodson's up to make the play.
3rd down and 13. Winding down to the final minute of the opening quarter. Brady with that diagonal roll and then throws, and that one is incomplete. Intended for Tate. It was Sam Shields covering on the play, and at the end of that play, Tate turned into more of a defensive back to avoid the interception. 4th down.
They're working on Sam Shields. It was Brady rolling away, so he got the one-on-one with Tate on the backside. Let's see if Tate ends up knocking this ball down, basically. Got just enough of it to knock it away from Sam Shields. Good play by Tate.
Zoltan Mesko, a rookie out of Michigan, drafted in the 5th round, is the punter, 6'5", 230-pound left-footed kicker who floats this one. It's a very short kick, and it takes a Packer bounce, and Green Bay will get the ball at about the 32-yard line. Aaron Rodgers, the concussion last week, it's the 2nd concussion that he sustained this season. The first one did not cost him any action except for coming out of the game in which he incurred that at Washington, but he was able to come back the next week. Then last week, he didn't slide, went head first, got tackled at the end of the first half in Detroit, has to go through a battery of tests. There's a whole new protocol now in the NFL. Didn't pass. So he's here tonight, but clearly inactive, and they hope to have him back next week against the Giants.
Yeah, Mike McCarthy said that in another era of the concussion syndrome, he probably would have been playing in this one.
From the 31-yard line. Flynn's going to take a timeout. That's the second that they have used. Our traveling doctor is Andrea Kramer. Andrea, fill us in. What do you know?
Well, when Mike McCarthy talked to Rodgers on Tuesday, McCarthy thought he'd be able to play tonight, but Rodgers later developed a headache. Now, the headaches continued through Thursday, and he was sent home from the facility both days. He was feeling better on Friday and began lobbying to play, but was ruled out yesterday. Now, I talked to Rodgers before the game, and he said he didn't have any symptoms, but he wasn't sure how the lights and the noise might affect him. The bottom line, he still has tests to pass before he'll be cleared to play.
They'll check him out again. Thank you, Andrew. The NFL protocol now, you have to have no symptoms while resting or after exercise. Pass a computer-based neurological test. Must be cleared by the team physician and independent neurologist, not the coach. And no change in protocol for a second concussion, meaning that even though Rodgers had that first one, this is a totally what they would refer to as like an independent event. And Flynn escaping, rolling, and looking. And now it'll just go down just past the line of scrimmage. But Chris, I keep thinking about, 5, 6, 7 years ago, you'd pass your concussion test by, coming back to the bench, and the doctor would look at you and he would go, how many fingers you holding up? And if you guessed right, you're back in the game.
Yeah, but remember Austin Collie, who already had 2 concussions, as has Aaron Rodgers today, went back in there and got a 3rd. Doctors will tell you they are independent events, but I'm not sure Austin Collie's parents would believe that.
2nd down and 9 with the ball to the 32-yard line. Brandon Jackson runs into a group on the last play of the period at the 34-yard line. And that'll be the end of the first quarter in Foxborough with the score New England 7, Green Bay 3. Sunday Night Football resumes after these messages. Third and 7. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Andrea Kramer. Sunday Night Football from Foxborough as we start the second quarter on 3rd down and 7. They bring a little pressure. They run a couple of stunts, and the pass is caught by James Jones. Fingertip catch into the end zone. He rolls for a Green Bay touchdown. 66 yards. And a big grin from Aaron Rodgers.
And just the opposite. They've been getting there with pressure. Watch the inside backers. No pressure this time. Matt Flynn can set his feet. Works off the safety a little bit. The two defenders run into each other. Brandon Merriweather, the safety, who's been struggling, actually lost his position, essentially took out his own cornerback. And look out, the Green Bay Packers now with a lead.
McCourty and Merriweather ran into each other. 4th touchdown reception of the season for Jones. Mason Crosby for the point after, and 9 seconds into the second quarter. Welcome Matt Flynn. 10-7 Green Bay. Here's the kickoff that's fielded. It's a short kick at the 28-yard line, and that's Algie Crumpler. Let's go back to the Green Bay touchdown to Jones.
Well, you don't bring pressure and watch Matt Flynn. He sees he's going to be safe. He's going to check out the side where he's going to throw it quickly. Now he's going to look him off, come back, little pump fake action. There you go, hold the safety. And Brandon Merriweather committed the sin that you're not supposed to commit. He didn't get deep enough and had to take a bad angle.
Brady play action and just gets stuffed and buried and loses the football at the 19-yard line. And Ed Hockley is, after Desmond Bishop comes in and dislodges the football, is going to say that Brady was down.
Well, we see this blitz a lot in the National Football League. You're going to get the cross blitz, and Desmond Bishop is going to have big-time contact with Tom Brady, coming right down the throat of that offensive line. And for Brady, he has to be a little surprised at the number of hits he's taken so far.
I tell you, that was close. The tuck rule. Yeah. 2nd and 20. Every time you see Brady do that, all you think about is what happened here in the postseason in 01. Wes Welker making this catch. 3rd down and 13.
And really, this has been what's kept the Patriots in the game thus far. I mean, it's been a good show by the Packers, but every time they get a 3rd and long, they've been converting. So time for the Packers defensively to step up.
Had that big 3rd and 17 to Branch on the scoring drive. That's Branch at the bottom of the screen. Press coverage on him. On 3rd down and 13. Tramon Williams locked up with Branch. And Brady buys time, throws across his body. That'll be caught, but taken down just after he makes the catch is Brandon Tate. Sam Shields with the coverage. 4th and long. Charles Woodson that time on a blitz.
Sure was, and he comes a lot right here, but watch Danny Woodhead do his job and pick him up. But Tom Brady has gotten enough pressure. He's a little uncomfortable now. You take a shot like Bishop gave him, all of a sudden he was looking to move. Usually Brady will just sort of step up and buy time and burn you down the field, but they've got him thinking a little bit right now.
So Don Mesco to boot it. Tramon Williams to run it back. Williams from the 22. Tries to get around the corner and has to step out of bounds as he crosses the 35-yard line. 12:38 to go. First half. Sacked there by Bishop. 10-7 Green Bay. A few lights that are out here right now at Gillette Stadium, but enough brightness will continue on. But that situation in New York earlier this year has created a couple of delays. From the 36-yard line on 1st down, here's Flynn, and he's going to get sacked. And that's Rob Ninkovich. Used to play with New Orleans and Miami, and then he comes over here last year. The outside linebacker comes in for the sack.
You just can't do it. You can't do it. You can't sit there and hold the ball this long. This is a West Coast offense. You've got receivers spread out all over the field. And really, the only time they didn't bring pressure on him is the one they burned him for the long touchdown. You know, there's no reason to do anything but come after him until he shows you can handle it.
Second down and 17. And Flynn over the middle, and that's dropped. A dead drop by Nelson, who would have set up at worst about a 3rd and 3. Instead, it's 3rd down and 17. And it was Eric Moore coming in to get to the quarterback that time.
Well, Flynn finally throws one on time, and Jordy Nelson just looks away. You can see his eyes. His eyes are looking right at the camera and forgot the ball. Big drop.
3rd and 17. They've yet to go to their main man, Jennings. He's wide to the left. Inside handoff goes to Kuhn. John Kuhn puts his shoulder down. It's tackled by Gerard Mayo. And it will be 4th and long.
I think that is such a good call by Mike McCarthy right there. You've got your young quarterback in there. You have a lead. You don't need to give it away. And John Kuhn's one of those running backs that you think you're tackling him, but really he's laying it on you.
Kuhn 6 feet and about 260 pounds. Here's Mastey's kick, and that's a low liner, end over end, fielded on the hop at the 28-yard line by Julian Edelman. He brings it to the 34. 11:21 to the half with Green Bay up by 3. Two college teammates involved in one of the most noted plays, I guess notorious if you're a Raider fan.
Infamous.
Would be infamous, notorious
fan.
Tuck rule back in the 0-1 postseason, January 9 of 02. There's Tom Brady going back, and here comes Woodson on a corner blitz. And the rules simply stated if the quarterback's attempting to pull the ball back in effect, tuck it, it is not a fumble. And of course, all the Raiders thought they had recovered, they'd win the game. And the next thing you know, you got one of the most amazing field goals of all time by Adam Vinatieri. They go to overtime. Vinatieri kicks another field goal. That's the spot in Patriot Place. They're going to mark it with a plaque down the line as they continue to build just outside the stadium. And nobody who saw that will forget it. Brady and Woodson, and here they are in the game 9 years later, and they give the ball to Aaron Hernandez. And away he goes for a 16-yard pickup.
Well, it's pretty amazing. You're going to bring tight ends in to run a reverse, but watch Brandon Tate down the field on Tramon Williams. These wide receivers, the more I watch it, the best blocking receiver I've ever seen in my life is Hines Ward, without question. But you take these guys as a group right now in the NFL, they're the best, and it's more because of their effort than anything else.
1st and 10 with the ball at the 50-yard line. Green Ellis will knock it out of the backfield. B.J. Raji knifes through and stops him for a loss of about 4. And a flag down.
Holding, offense, number 82. 10-yard penalty, repeat 1st down.
You know, do you take 1st and 20 or do you take 2nd and 14?
I don't know.
I take 2nd and 14.
Watch Dan Conley here. He's going to try and cut off B.J. Raji. Raji athletic enough to take a blow to the back of his knees. And remember, that's the clip zone, so that's a legal play. But he wasn't able to get him on the ground.
What do you think? I mean, I go to 2nd and 14 instead of 1st and 20, given the choice.
That's a pretty easy one for me.
Which way?
It's 2nd and 14 all the way.
I wasn't sure which way you were going. I was going to put the dunce cap on.
We got another political debate here.
1st down and 20 from the 40-yard line. Brady throws. It's a low throw and it's caught up at the 46-yard line. And that's Aaron Hernandez, rookie 4th round pick out of Florida. Gronkowski The other tight end, the rookie, was drafted in the 2nd round out of Arizona.
This is an unbelievable throw right here. Watch Tom Brady. There is about 6 inches for him to get this ball in there. Poor Atari Bigby could not have had better coverage. Low and away for strike 1. And that's just the thing of beauty. That is unbelievable.
So it's 2nd and 14 after all that. And the catch is made out in the flat, and then it's Algie Crumpler, the other tight end, the veteran tight end, has been around a long time, 10th year in the league. Tackled there by Clay Matthews.
Now, one of the things that you'll see the Packers do occasionally is drop Clay Matthews back into coverage, simply because so many teams now are sliding all their protections towards him. What they'll do is just drop him back in coverage and bring pressure the other way where there aren't as many offensive linemen.
Here comes Matthews. They do a good job on him, and Brady's pass is low and incomplete on the ground. It'll be 4th down. So Brady has begun the game tonight 8 out of 13 for 76 yards, and is lucky that he hasn't had at least 1 pass and maybe 2 picked off.
Watch Clay Matthews here hit Sebastian Vollmer. The first move that Matthews always uses is that bull rush. He wants to come up and just jack up the tackle a few times to set him up for his speed move. So we'll see if he goes to that maybe on the next series.
Mesco's 3rd kick of the night coming. Williams is back at his own 10-yard line, and they jump up front. It's 4th and 11, so even if it's on Green Bay, it's still going to be 4th down and 6.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 45 came into the neutral zone, causing movement by the offense. 5-yard penalty. It's 4th down.
Of course, on 4th and 4, that would have been huge.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised they went to the hard count there. You know, you tend to use that when you're thinking, okay, we're going to end up with an easy 1st down if we get them. In that situation, unless Belichick's going to go for it, and goodness knows we've seen him do that before. I don't think I would have used my trick there.
Under 9 minutes to play in the half. They put the rush on, and it's a very short kick that's fielded at the 15-yard line and brought back to the 18-yard line by Tramon Williams. Green Bay 10, New England 7. Well, Matt Flynn, good start of that first drive. Then he struggled a little bit. Then he was able to get that pass to Jones for the 66-yard touchdown. 5 of 8 for 91 as he takes over at the 18 again. Aaron Rodgers, concussion last week, not cleared to play. Here tonight, inactive. But it's Flynn, and Graham Harrell would be his backup. They just activated him from the practice squad as Brandon Jackson picks up 1 yard.
Well, and certainly Matt Flynn's been pretty darn good tonight. The one thing he hasn't done so well is when they're bringing pressure, you can see him drop his head and start to scramble instead of just trying to quickly get the ball out of his hands. As a quarterback, you just have to understand there are certain packages you can't get picked up. And so the quickest way to stop that is to make some quick throws, throw some slants, some quick screens, get the ball out of your hand to slow down that pass rush.
On a 2nd and 9 play, that's incomplete.
Wow, that was close.
Yeah, good coverage. Intended for Quarles. No flag. 3rd down.
Couldn't see at the very end of that play. It looked like there was, I don't know if that was Gary Guyton or not, that sort of came right over the top. A lot of times you'll get this call even if it's not interference. He definitely had a little contact on him, didn't he?
3rd down and 9 from the 19-yard line. And you're going to get a free play here, and the pass is incomplete. You had Vince Wilfork coming across the line, contact and a flag, and an offside, a free play.
Offside, defense number 75. 5-yard penalty. Repeat third down.
So it was 3rd down and 9. It's now 3rd and 4.
Nice job by Matt Flynn there, realizing he had a free play. Believe me, when you're playing the Patriots, a lot easier on 3rd and 4. I think if I were Mike McCarthy here, I might call a slant or something really fast, anticipating the Patriots' pressure.
See if they get Jennings into the game. Have not targeted him, their leading receiver. You got Driver set up on the left side. And Flynn goes to the right side, and that's Jones, the man who caught the touchdown pass. And he gets tackled by McCourty, and a 3rd and 4 is converted into a 1st down.
Yep, good job. Nice call by McCarthy there, getting the ball quickly out of Flynn's hands. And that was a read. Sometimes when you're a young quarterback, it takes a little bit of time for your brain to settle down out there, you know, and all of a sudden that time he picked out the single coverage, converted the 3rd down for a big play.
Flynn has now reached the century mark. They give it to Dimitri Nance up to the 37. His father, Alvin, Flynn's father, Alvin, from Texas, town of Texas. I think it's a happy, what, 64th birthday today,
That's
Fred?
right, yeah.
There he is, with his son playing here. And Alvin was a quarterback himself at Baylor, and son Matthew is the youngest of 5 children for the Flynns. 2nd and 6. Nance again to the right side. It'll be 3rd down, about 4 after Cunningham makes the tackle.
Vince Wilfork right over there is the guy that makes it so tough to run the football. Josh Sitton is the best offensive lineman for the Green Bay Packers, and you could see him just moving back in the backfield and force the back to bounce out.
3rd and 4.
There you go. Just
Pass
throw
to
it.
Nelson. He makes the catch. And Nelson down the sideline in front of the Green Bay bench and into New England territory for a 1st down of the Patriot 45-yard line. That's a gain of 16 yards.
I like what McCarthy's doing here now. He's going to go empty, and I'm sure he's telling him, just throw it. There you go. You're going to be out there in the flat. Good job by the receiver on the outside, basically just turning it into a running block. After he goes slant, turns around. I think that's James Jones. But now they're starting to get a little tempo, a little rhythm out of the quarterback position, and I'm sure that Matt Flynn's feeling a whole lot better.
Brandon Jackson is the running back. Off the fake, rolling right and throwing into traffic, and the pass is incomplete. Got it right there, right on target to Andrew Quarles, who gets bombed as he makes the catch, and then that dislodges the football. 2nd down.
Well, this is the sort of the cardinal sin. You could see Andrew Quarles sort of look off the ball to see where Devin McCourty was. And McCourty got him in the chest, it looked like it. He made an effort to get his head out of there. I thought it was more the shoulder to the chest than anything else. I think that's a clean hit.
Well, the officials were conferring. You saw them. Now they're going to drop a flag after about a 15-second conference.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness defense. Shot to the head and the neck. 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
Well, among other things, you get an officiating crew officiating the game in front of the commissioner.
Well, this has been the focal point here. You can see him. No, you're right. They got him with the helmet. It's a good call. I missed it the first time. There was helmet to helmet. I'm sure Bill Belichick's going crazy. But the officials got together. They talked about it. 3 of them saw it from 3 different angles, and they got the call right. Good for them.
Right. And it's a tough call for the officials, too, because you are leading with the shoulder, and then the head makes contact.
I tell you, I was watching in slow motion and missed it, so give them credit.
It's a lot different than a launch, which is an easy one to call. 1st and 10, the ball at the 30-yard line. Jackson. Not much action for him on that one. Gary Guyton makes the tackle. 2nd down and 9.
Vince Wilfork has moved out to the tackle position, but he plays on the outside of the tackle. Can still squeeze the inside plays, but can also contain these outside plays. It's what's made this New England Patriots defense so dynamic over the years that they can play outside the tackles and you still can't run it inside.
2nd down and 9. Underneath. That'll be a short gain. Quinn Johnson, who played at LSU, same school, of course, where Matt Flynn went, making the catch.
You know, these Patriots over the last few weeks have just been amazing. This 5-game winning streak, outscoring the opponents 44-7 in the first quarter. The last 2 games, 57-3 in the first half. And yet here are the Green Bay Packers with a backup quarterback moving again.
3rd down and 5. And Flynn throws, and that'll be caught to the 15-yard line. Goes Corliss, and that'll be a 1st down.
Well, I think the formation itself is what scares the blitz away from the Patriots here. They come with a 3-man rush, and it just looks like that Matt Flynn, when he has time to sit back there and think, he's pretty good, you know? So I would say Matt Flynn said, I prefer that one all day long, and Aaron Rodgers is enjoying the show.
Patriots have had a lot of trouble this year on 3rd down defensively. In fact, they're last in the league. Opponents converting almost half of their 3rd downs. And this pass is juggled and incomplete. Donald Driver, and it was almost juggled into the arms of James Sanders. Incomplete, 2nd down.
Very lucky on that one. Donald Driver tried to make the catch, but when he dropped it, the ball bounced in the air, and the Patriots had a shot at this one. I'm not sure if it ever hit the ground or not, but James Sanders had the ball pop up right to him. May have touched the ground right there.
2nd down and 10. Into the end zone, but too far and too high for Donald Driver, and too much outside, covered by Devin McCourty. It'll be 3rd down and 10.
Well, that's saying something, because Donald Driver at one time was a 7'6" high jumper. So they're going to throw it up and give him a chance. It really looked like Driver just jumped a fraction too early, didn't it? It was almost on the way down when the thing came down. They just missed. They might come back to that one.
They have Driver now in the slot left, Jones wide left, and Jennings to the right. 3rd and 10. Kuhn with a screen and blocking, and to the 2-yard line he goes. Had a convoy out in front. Scott Wells was there, and a 1st and goal for Green Bay.
No pressure coming again, but when Tully Banta-Cain brings the pressure, they get this offensive line out in front, and then good luck tackling John Kuhn in the open field. You can tell the Packers are just starting to feel it right now. I don't know that even they may have believed that they could have come in here and done this in the first half.
And another 3rd down conversion. They are 6 of 9 are the Packers against, as I say, the Patriots, who have the worst 3rd down conversion rate against them in the league. And on 1st and goal, it's Driver looking for a flag, contending he was held by Sanders. And there is a flag now in the end zone.
Pass interference, defense, number 36. The ball is placed at the 1-yard line. Automatic 1st down.
So Driver gets the call. It's a 1st and goal.
Well, they go back to the fade, and one of the issues that the Patriots have is they're having to play a safety, James Sanders, on a wide receiver and Donald Driver, and basically he had no choice but to just grab the back of the jersey. The official saw it, And the Packers on the 1.
We were coming out of a penalty, so the team has an opportunity to line up. There was no timeout called. There was no timeout called. I came in and stopped the play because coming out of an administrative stoppage, both teams have an opportunity to get set.
When Ed has the mic, we just give it to him.
You'd never know he's an attorney, would you?
Absolutely. Well, yes, you would.
He does a good job.
He
At least
does.
he lets us all know what's going on.
Explains it very clearly. So they reset the play clock to 25, and on first down, the pass is caught by Jennings. So sooner or later, you knew he was going to Jennings, and this time it's a touchdown.
I tell you, Greg Jennings, one of the great route runners you'll see in this league. Look at that move. We've seen him buckle the knees of more defenders this year than just about any other receiver. And watch Matt Flynn just hang in there, man. He just was a rock on that one.
Crosby for the point after. So Jennings, who's their main man, he's caught 61 passes for 996 coming into the game. He now has 997 on a 1-yard touchdown, 17-7. Three more yards and Jennings will have 1,000, but they've done a good job on him tonight, and then he gets free for the touchdown. There are the numbers, and you've got Flynn, and that was a good long 14-play, 6.5-minute drive. Brady tonight, very uncharacteristic numbers for him of late. No touchdowns and no picks. And again, Woodson dropped a sure pick. There was another near pick that was dropped. So Brady, with the Green Bay defense doing a great job on him, and the Patriots find themselves pretty shockingly down by 10. I say shockingly because you have no Rodgers. You're coming off a loss to Detroit. New England's the hottest team in the league. They never lose at home, seemingly. Then it's 17-7. Bouncing ball fielded at the 25.
Oh, you got to be kidding me.
Oh, look at this. This is Dan Connolly, the right guard. The right guard. Still going to the 4-yard line.
That's unbelievable.
Hey, Dan. What's your career highlight? Oh, unreal.
Dan Connolly puts two hands on this football from the first moment, saying, all right, as soon as somebody hits me, nobody hit me there. No, it didn't happen. But remember what Mike McCarthy told us. He said all the injuries we've had on defense, the biggest issue we've had has been on special teams, and boy, did it show up there. Look at the big guy with the move. He's going to cut back. That is the loaf of bread carry. Oxygen, somebody, he almost scored.
71 yards.
Amazing.
And it gives Brady a 1st and goal at the 4-yard line. And the pass is caught at the 2-yard line. And we take it to the 2-minute warning. But until then, Dan Connolly's, the highlight of his career was holding number 63 offense, 10 yards.
Love it.
You've got Connolly in as a fullback now. And Green Ellis is stopped just about at the line of scrimmage. Went back and looked at Connolly's career. He's actually returned 4 kicks. He had 3 prior kick returns prior to that one. So he's on that kick return team, but nothing like that.
In the history of the league, nothing like that. But this is a major moment in this ball game right now for both of these teams. If the Packers could somehow swell up here and hold them to a field goal after that momentum shift, well, it'd be something for them going into the half.
And with 3rd and goal, Brady's walking around and waiting to take the timeout.
Timeout, New England.
We'll discuss this play call. Getting our information from the illustrious Ken Hurd of the Elias Sports Bureau, who is never wrong. That is the longest kickoff return by an offensive lineman in the history of the National Football League.
And the smile proved it. What a play.
But now they need to get into the end zone here to really cash in. Woodhead in the backfield with Brady on third down, and Brady protected well. Throws, caught, touchdown, Aaron Hernandez.
Well, this time it's going to be Charles Woodson. There was just too much time. Woodson basically had a double move. He had to cover against Hernandez. In, out, again. And Woodson said, how about a little help up there, guys? Decision not to pressure there, and Brady got him.
5th touchdown catch of the season for the rookie Hernandez. The extra point by Graham is good. 68 ticks to the half. Crazy. 17-14, Green Bay. .108 remaining. The Green Bay Packers will get the ball with one timeout. You can't replay this one enough. Well, not this one. This one is the touchdown, and we're going to see the kickoff return again before we go to the half. But there's Hernandez. Great protection for Brady. Secondary did a good job initially, but sooner or later somebody's going to get free.
The #1 most watched highlight of the year, baby, Dan Conley.
Graham's kick, 2-yard line. Sam Shields. Down he goes at the 23. Sammy Morris makes the tackle. And this is a 4-yard pickup for Brandon Jackson up to the 27-yard line.
Well, there's just maybe nothing like it in the history of the league. Dan Conley, 2 hands on the ball until he gets in the open field, then he's going to cut it loose. Look, I don't think I've seen anybody hold the ball like that since I was about 6. Down the field, cuts me inside.
Yep.
That's beautiful. Basically, Charlie Pepper, though, just kind of let him go. That wasn't so good. He was going to score. They had to tackle him. He was breaking every arm tackle out there.
2nd and 6. Jackson again. Tackled by Mayo. That's exactly what it is, Troy. That's a 6-year-old in the backyard. The ball is like too big to carry it the way an NFL player carries it. You carry it around its middle.
I'll tell you what.
Classic.
But he's just saved the Patriots. Think of how different this game is right now because of that play.
Good first half. Good first half with Green Bay on top 17-14. New England coming in as the hottest team in the league. Come off 2 big routes of the Jets and the Bears, but Green Bay giving them all they can handle tonight. Even without Aaron Rodgers. Passing yards, 130-64. Neither team with a turnover, but the big play in the game for New England down by 10 points was that unbelievable 71-yard run back by Dan Connolly. Longest return by an offensive lineman in the history of the league, and he comes up about 4 yards shy of the goal line. So there he is, a guy who, keeps getting signed and sent to the practice squad and back and forth. Started with Jacksonville, came here a couple of years ago. His moment in the sun or under the lights anyway as we start the second half with Sam Shields from the 10-yard line. Up to the 25 and a flag at the end of the play.
During the return, holding by the receiving team number 86. 10-yard penalty. Green Bay keeps the ball. First down.
Donald Lee back to the kickoff return we go.
Well, get used to watching it. Crosby missed it, but then Conley with what would have had to have been the all-Madden play of the century. John would have been going berserk watching an offensive lineman with a record-breaking kickoff return to turn the tide of this game.
Had to be an out-of-body experience for him on the move like that as Brandon Jackson takes it up to the 13-yard line, and we check in with Andrea Kramer. Andrea.
Well, Al, as for Mike McCarthy's perspective on that play, he said it was a called squib kick. He just said it was poor tackling on his team's part. His assessment of Matt Flynn, he's happy with him. What he needs from him in the second half, manage the game, make smart decisions, don't take any chances. As for safety Nick Collins, in getting x-rays on his ribs, Atari Bigby will step in for him for now.
All right, thank you, Andrea, from the 13-yard line now on 2nd and 7. Jackson, big hole to the 23. And remember, Green Bay won the toss at the beginning of the game and deferred, then recovered the onside kick, which led to a Green Bay field goal. So they start the second half with the ball first down here.
Well, center Scott Wells here is going to work on Kyle Love. Remember, they've taken Vince Wilfork off the nose and moved him over to defensive end, and that's allowing some of these cutback runs to play. Believe me, we're seeing a much better game out of this Green Bay Packers offensive line tonight than we saw a week ago.
Jackson efficient on the ground, 10 carries for 40. This one will go for about 3 to the 26-yard line. No team in the league has had more impactful injuries than the Green Bay Packers. I mean, they started the season with Grant getting hurt on opening day. Jermichael Finley, their tight end, went down. Mark Tauscher, their tackle. Nick Barnett, their middle linebacker. Al Harris was hurt before the season, then was activated, and he was sent away. They're missing Jenkins, Cullen Jenkins, their best pass rushing defensive lineman. I mean, it goes on and on with these guys. And now, of course, Rodgers tonight. 2nd and 8. Give it to Kuhn. John Kuhn with a thrust out to the 32-yard line. 3rd down and 2 upcoming.
Well, as soon as the Packers start running the ball, what do? They put Big Vince right back in the middle. Remember, the Patriots tonight now are missing some of their best defensive linemen. Ron Brace, Mike Wright, Iron Pryor, Brandon Spikes, the linebackers out as well. So there may be some alleys to run the football that usually aren't there against the Patriots.
Third down and 3. Flynn gets it away and throws an interception to the 35-yard line. Kyle Arrington still on his feet inside the 10, all the way to the end zone for a Patriot touchdown.
Receiver right up here is going to come in, and he's going to get cut off basically by Pat Chung. So James Jones stops on the route, and Matt Flynn, who was again under pressure that time, delivered the ball where he thought his receiver was going to be. And the Green Bay Packers, a horrible job of tackling, and it cost them a touchdown. Got to be able to go make the tackle offensively on that play.
Extra point by Graham is good. Arrington had a blocked field goal that he ran in for a touchdown against Miami earlier this year. Now the interception run back for the touchdown, and the Patriots are on top by 4. Kyle Arrington, who played his college football at Hofstra, started with Philadelphia last year in training camp in Tampa Bay. Second year with New England on the coverage team here. The kick is fielded by Shields from the 11-yard line. Sam brings it out to the 35-yard line. So it was 3rd down and 3 when Flynn went back to pass. And the next thing you know, you got the lead for the Patriots.
As soon as Jordy Nelson goes out to the flat, Pat Chung is just going to go with his man, and he ends up cutting off James Jones, who stops on the route. And then there's Kyle Arrington, and he does the rest. Got to help young quarterbacks all you can. I know he got cut off, but you've got to keep fighting through there.
Dimitri Nance starts as the running back on 1st down. Here's Nance.
Oh, and there's Wilfork.
Yeah, can't miss him.
Oh, baby. Vince Wilfork just basically fought his way through half the team of the Green Bay Packers. Right there's the big guy. Watch this. Double team inside. Run into his own man, Tully Banteke. Oh, baby. He controls a lot of turf in the middle of the field for the Patriots.
Second down and 10. And the pass is caught, and that's a good tackle to save for the moment. A first down. James Jones makes the catch. Kyle Arrington with the tackle. Defenders to start all 13 games for the Pats. Just 3 of them. Wilfork, Mayo leads the team in tackles by a mile, and the rookie McCourty, tied for fewest in the league through 14 weeks. Their defense, the average age of the starters, less than 26. That's the youngest defense in the NFL. So they've had a lot of injuries, but they have good depth, and they're young. And they're playing better.
And their best 3 players are the ones that have played and started every game.
Right. Third down and 1. Kuhn. Look at that. Kuhn again with a first down on a great second effort to the 44-yard line.
Now let's give Josh Sitton a little credit, the guard. He was on Vince Wilfork and got this one done right here too. But for John Kuhn, look at the patience. Sees it, it's not there, bounce outside. Pretty athletic for a big fullback. Sitton holding his own, which is about all you can hope for against that guy.
From the 43. Off the fake. Comes back. Nance. Across the 50 and a first down to the New England 46-yard line. Tackled here by Rob Ninkovich.
You know, sometimes you learn more about quarterbacks after interceptions than you do after touchdowns. And for Matt Flynn, had so much go right for him in the first half, and he comes out and tough play to start the second half, but he's come right back in. They say he's a little bit like Brett Favre. He's a character. He likes to joke around in the huddle, play around with the guys. They felt like his demeanor was the thing that set him apart when they wanted him.
Deep drop, good protection. Again, it's Nance. Tackled in the open field by Ninkovich.
Well, Matt Flynn, kind of a dream first half for him to come in and play the New England Patriots. He looked good. There was some pressure early, a little unsettled, and then he came back. McCarthy gave him some short, quick throws, and it set up the big one. But he was not afraid. He stood in there more often than not, and for Tom Brady, thought he was going to get the ball to start the second half. He's been starting off on the bench. I thought that was an interesting halftime speech, though.
Second down and 5. And through the middle and finding some room is Brandon Jackson. So they're doing it on the ground for the most part on this drive, and that's a first down at the 35-yard line.
Well, they just keep trying to put Vince Wilfork wherever they think the ball's going. Here he is back out at defensive end. And it's Josh Sitton again, no question, the biggest and strongest and most physical of the offensive linemen for the Green Bay Packers. That has been some war going on in there. But because of the injuries to these defensive linemen, the Packers are having success inside, which most teams don't.
Flynn to the outside, and that is caught. Inbounds, 9-yard gain. Greg Jennings, who had a touchdown grab in the first half, makes the catch, and that will put him over 1,000 yards in receiving for the season. Second down and 1 upcoming. So we're halfway through the third quarter, and the Patriots have not had the ball yet. But they have the lead. (21-17). Brandon Jackson is the running back. Needs a yard. Gets it. And about 3 more. It'll be a first down at the 22-yard line. The tackle made by Gerard Mayo.
Well, you know, it was a tough week of practice for Mike McCarthy and this offensive line. They simply were manhandled a week ago by Ndamukong Suh and Corey Williams and some of those defensive linemen for the Detroit Lions. It really was a bit uncharacteristic, but whatever they did in practice is paying off tonight.
This is the 9th play of the drive. 4 runs, 4 passes. They've had the ball for 5.5 minutes. Nance is the running back. Protected well and throws into traffic, and that time Arrington almost had another pick. Donald Driver was the intended receiver.
You know, in the National Football League, you can't do this when you're going to get a corner in basically a cover 2 defense that is allowed when he sees the quarterback. He's just going to keep going back. In college, maybe you get away with that throw, maybe even in the national championship game. In this league, he's lucky that wasn't another pick.
2nd down and 10. Flynn 15 out of 24 for 177. Back on the ground, Brandon Jackson, and there's a face mask, and you can see that when your head gets spun around like that. Pretty easy to call. That's Wilfork, who got his hand up in the mask. He's trying to say, no, I got it by the shoulder pad.
Personal foul, face mask, 15-yard penalty, defense, automatic 1st down.
I'll tell you, that call could have easily gone either way there, Al. It was Scott Wells, the center, basically pushing Vince Wilfork out of the way, but you'll see his arm sort of wrapped around the belly there, which forced Wilfork to go out and grab the face mask. And Wilfork, after the play, was advising the officials that he was held on the play.
To no avail. McCarthy going through a lot of the play sheet in this half. 11th play of the drive. All Brady can do is pace and keep warm. 1st and 10. They can get a 1st down without a touchdown. And it's Jackson. Brandon Jackson gets about half the distance, just shy of the 5-yard line. It'll be 2nd down.
The one thing that you see a lot in football games, especially when you're depleted on that defensive line, remember Brandon Dederick was injured early in this game, so basically with just about 4 defensive linemen, Vince Wilfork and company have had to play the entire game out there. Those guys are used to getting a little bit of rest. They're not getting tonight. It actually looks like Dederick's back in now.
He is. 2nd down and 5, just outside the 5. Nance is the tailback. The fake to Nance, and then Flynn will just throw that away. He had nobody there and knew he was under pressure and throws it away to save another day. And I tell you what, at least Flynn, with the enormous pressure of succeeding Rodgers at least for a night and playing in New England on Sunday Night Football, can still manage a smile.
You know, that's what they said about him. He's just a fun-loving guy. He didn't feel the pressure of the moment. He's been in big games, and he's got a big play coming here.
3rd and 5. That defense will be well rested. They rush 3. They swing it to Kuhn, and Kuhn will dive into the end zone. Touchdown. That was a magnificent 13-play, 69-yard drive. 6 runs, 7 passes, and Green Bay has the lead again.
And it should have never happened. Rob Ninkovich basically just falls down. He trips over his own feet and just allows the walk-in for John Kuhn. But the Green Bay Packers activated 3 fullbacks tonight and just 2 tailbacks, in part because Kuhn can do some of those things.
Kick by Mason Crosby is good. So New England will finally get the football almost 10 minutes into the 2nd half. 5:08 left in the 3rd. 24-21 Green Bay. Bill Belichick going over things on the sideline, and that will be a touchback. And Brady will finally get to work at the 20-yard line when we come back. Set the AFC right now. Coming into the game 11-2 are the Patriots. Jets win in Pittsburgh today. Great game, went right down to the end. Miami loses at home to go to 7-7. New England's first offensive play of the second half is a 1-yard gain for Benjarvis Green-Ellis, who's tackled by Ryan Pickett. 2nd down and 9. Well, Brady's going to have to rally the troops, and he's done that this season, Chris, and he's done it with his throat as well as his arm.
I'll tell you, that Cleveland game was one in which Belichick went crazy on him.
And then the following week, you saw Brady as demonstrative as he's ever been on the sideline in Pittsburgh, and the pass here is incomplete.
Well, basically at halftime of the Cleveland game, Bill Belichick came in there and goes, I told you guys, you're only as good as your last game. You don't get it. You don't understand. And basically started screaming at Tom Brady and Vince Wilfork, saying that you guys are the ones that are letting this happen out there with this young team. And so ever since then, Tom Brady has been exactly that, expressing himself.
And that was the last shot you saw Brady on the sideline at Heinz Field that night in Pittsburgh. And they beat the Steelers to start this 5-game winning streak, which is in jeopardy right now. B.J. Raji comes firing through the middle to get his 2nd sack.
Well, there's no way that Danny Woodhead is going to be able to handle about 350 pounds of B.J. Raji. They brought pressure. They just missed Raji, which is a tough concept to grasp.
You're always looking for a mismatch. Mesco's kick. Hold in 43-yard line by Tramon Williams. Looking for a crease and can't find one. And the coverage is good. He's tackled by Gary Guyton at the 46-yard line. Green Bay gets it back. Up by 3. After a 3-and-out for New England, Flynn back to work, and he just drops him in softly over the middle to Quinn Johnson. And Johnson takes it to the 43, his one-time college teammate. Well, we look at the AFC East, and what about the NFC North now? The Bears play tomorrow night outside in Minnesota because you know what happened to the Metrodome, so they'll play at the University of Minnesota's field. And then the Jets go to Green Bay. Well, excuse me, the Giants, as you look at the Packers schedule, the Giants, there it is, go to Green Bay and then Chicago. Meanwhile, the Jets and then at Green Bay for Chicago. So it's very crazy right now in the NFC North. Anything can happen between these two teams. Play fake. And Flynn will throw, and coming back to make the catch that time is Greg Jennings, and he has it at the 27-yard line to move the chains.
That is a great play by Greg Jennings right there. Really nothing working down the field. He's on this deep cross, and there's nothing there. So Jennings, instead of going up the field, comes right back to his quarterback. Flynn finds him for a big 1st down. Brilliant play by a receiver.
At the 27, 16-yard gain, 1st down. Nance, tell you what, 286 yards for Green Bay and 129 for New England. Flynn, 3 touchdown passes tonight. You go back to Mikowski in his rookie year 87, tying a Packer rookie record. On top of that, Chris, I mean, if somebody would have told you Green Bay would have the ball 29 minutes and New England 13 and a half before the game, you'd have looked in their drink.
You know, the onside kick to start the game set the tone.
2nd down and 9. Jackson and Green Bay rediscovering its running game, and that's made a big difference tonight. 1st down to the 14-yard line.
Well, that time the old vet Chad Clifton got it done on the outside. He's going to get the hook block And Brandon Jackson's going to set it up inside, bounce it outside. Clifton knew what he was going to do, and once again, the Packers running the football. I would have never believed it tonight.
102 rushing yards in less than 3 quarters. That's a backward pass to Greg Jennings, and Jennings to the 15-yard line. You know, you don't want to make too big of a deal of this, but everybody thought coming into this game, the minute you knew Aaron Rodgers wasn't going to play, the way New England's playing, and Green Bay loses to Detroit 7-3, we thought this would be a rout.
I think most people did, but the one thing that you can never take into consideration, the fact that sometimes a young defense can start reading their own press clippings. Remember, the Patriots during the course of this week were already in the Super Bowl.
Right. 2nd down and 11. And a spate of stories comparing this to the 07 team. Here's Jennings. But the one thing Belichick doesn't let his team do, even though right now they're really in a tough one, he doesn't let them read about themselves or listen to too much talk. He tries not to anyway. Algie Crumpler the other day, he said the only paper we subscribe to is the Belichick Times.
That's a pretty interesting paper, especially at halftime.
Right. X-rated. 3rd and 6 at the 11. Flynn to Kuhn. Here goes Kuhn again to the 2-yard line. He's like a runaway truck when he gets the ball.
That was one of the best plays I've seen in a long time by John Kuhn. We'll show it to you, I'm sure, after the break of the quarter.
He's an 18-wheeler rolling down the highway. End of 3 and a good one. 24-21 Green Bay. Sunday Night Football back after this. Down to Foxborough we come for the 4th quarter. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, and Andrea Kramer. It's 1st and goal for the Packers, who lead by 3 from the 2-yard line. And it's the up back Kuhn, who's already scored 1 touchdown tonight, and he takes the ball to the 1-yard line. Let's go back to the last play of the 3rd quarter with Kuhn.
A perfect play by a fullback. Watch the chip block on Tully Banticane. Knock him down, slip out. A fullback now makes 1, 2 guys miss, pick up the 1st down. John Kuhn has been tremendous tonight.
Kuhn the fullback, Jackson is the tailback. Kuhn again. No, this time he's stopped. Tries to go over the right side. It'll be 3rd down and goal from the 1.
This time it's Ninkovic and McCourty coming in the backfield to set up a big-time 3rd down.
Flynn protected well, but the defense is also doing a good job, and he's forced to throw it away. So now it's 4th down and goal, and they're going to send Crosby in for a field goal. Big, big stop for New England.
The play that really set this one up, though, was Devin McCourty coming in off the edge. We talked about him being the defensive rookie of the year. He and Ndamukong Suh, the 2 top contenders, but that was some tackle by a little cornerback.
19-yard field goal is good, so that defense, the New England defense, keeping this a 1-possession game, not 2. 27-21 Pack. The kickoff fielded at the 25-yard line. This time it's Algie Crumpler. He'll go nowhere. At least they kept it away from Connolly. New England with the ball for only the 2nd time in the half. Tom Capers has been around a long time. He's the defensive coordinator of the Green Bay Packers. He was actually on the New England staff in 2008, observing Bill Belichick. And what a job his crew has done tonight. Here's Brady on first down. Wobbles one down the field, caught by Welker at the 50-yard line, and West takes it inside the Packer 40 to the 39-yard line. Charlie Peppra downfield to make the tackle. So a big play for Brady on first down as Tom sends it down the field for a gain of 35.
Always starts with protection, and that was the blitz that they sacked Tom Brady on earlier. That time, BenJarvus Green right there for the pickup.
From the 38-yard line. And this is Danny Woodhead. Now, we saw Connolly with that great run back, and he had been playing right guard in the first half. Then he played fullback in the goal line offense. But the Patriots tell us he has a head injury. And thus you have number 62, Ryan Wendell, who is playing right guard. And Connolly has not played here in the second half.
And Connolly replaced Stephen Neal, so they're really on their third guard now.
2nd and 3. From the 32-yard line. Caught by Green Ellis. And BenJarvus Green Ellis takes the ball to the 21-yard line for a first down.
Well, this BenJarvus Green Ellis has turned into a story. A free agent a few years ago, really nothing more than an afterthought, goes on the practice squad. And as the injuries continue to mount with Fred Taylor and Kevin Falk, he just kept getting opportunities. And he has delivered. He has a shot at going over 1,000 yards. Pretty impressive year.
Traded away Lawrence Maroney at the start of the season. He'd been their premier back last year. Here's Green Ellis again. Injury for Green Bay. We should mention too, Nick Collins, the safety, is out. Looked at his ribs, and he's not going to come back. So Atari Bigby is in his spot. Quarterback comparison to this point in the game. Who would have believed it?
Well, I predicted this before the game.
Right, you sure you
almost did. I missed a couple yards there, but there he is. The championship belt belongs to him. He's looking over at Aaron Rodgers, who likes to do that after touchdown passes.
2nd and 10. Woodhead, and he gets stuffed. That's Desmond Bishop.
Wow. Desmond Bishop got a running start on Danny Woodhead and buried him coming from right here. Danny Woodhead not quite 200 pounds, and Desmond Bishop is. Tell you what, you won't get Danny Woodhead to back off any, though. Tough kid.
Big third down on 8 now from the 20-yard line. With 11:15 to go. Touchdown by 6. Off the hands of Edelman and incomplete. Julian Edelman over the middle, and it's incomplete. So it's 4th down and 8, and Tom Brady, who's had some breaks tonight in terms of not throwing an interception, has just broken Bernie Kosar's record for most passes in one season without a pick, 287.
Yeah, but that one should have been picked. Eric Walden, who was picked up just recently, had it go right between his hands.
38-yard field goal attempt now for Shane Graham, who was picked up in mid-year. And Steven Gostowski went on injured reserve, and the former Bengal bangs it through to make it a 3-point game again. 11:05 left in regulation. The Packers on top 27-24. Packers travel well, very much like the Steelers. No matter when this team is on the road, there will be a few cheeseheads. From the 6-yard line, Sam Shields. He's out of bounds at the 21-yard line. Against teams that are 10-2 or better since 1970, the year of the merger, quarterbacks making their first start, and that would figure. 1-6 with a 32 rating and 4 TDs and 15 picks, because you're throwing a young guy in for the most part, an inexperienced guy against a real good football team. But tonight, there are Matt Flynn's numbers. Pretty good. Really good. From the 21 on first down. Play action, stepping up. He's going to go down at the 17-yard line. Devin McCourty was the first guy to come in, and there he is, the rookie corner.
Well, Devin McCourty, just a hustle play here, is going to come off the slot way outside. Basically gets picked up, though, by Brandon Jackson. Just stays with it. And for Matt Flynn, you can't let the situation slow you down now. He's been getting the ball out of his hands. You cannot allow yourself, because the pressure's on, to change what you're doing. Hold the ball, see it, and fire it. You've got to let it go.
2nd and 14. From the 17-yard line, Flynn, and that's through the hands of Jackson. And you have Wilfork back there covering Jackson.
Well, you can't expect for Jackson to get away from a great athlete like Vince Wilfork. I mean, my goodness, the guy's got the most nimble feet in the world. Go get him, Vince. He might be going for Defensive Player of the Year himself. I think he'd have run him down.
That's Jackson's first on-target drop this season. 3rd down and 14. Flynn stepping up. He's going to run. Will he slide? Well, it's a half a slide as he gets up to the 27-yard line. Almost went down to the fetal position.
Yeah, and I'm sure that Mike McCarthy had his heart in his throat on that one, because all he has behind Matt Flynn is Graham Harrell, who has no experience. It was a little bit close to the way Aaron Rodgers got hit, and Matt Flynn, he doesn't know any better. He's just out there playing.
Tim Mastey's kick. Edelman collects it at the 33-yard line. And is tackled at the 37 with 9.5 to go in the 4th. And Brady going back to work in a 3-point game. Brady's been under some pressure, and they scored 1 touchdown on an interception return, and the other was set up by Connolly's unbelievable kickoff return. Now you got a pass outside to Danny Woodhead, and that's good for a first down as Danny takes the ball out to the 49-yard line. 1st and 10.
Well, clearly when you play against Bill Belichick, there are certain guys that will not beat you. In this case, it is Clay Matthews. Double team on the outside. Make sure he's occupied at all times.
Patriots go no huddle. Here's Woodhead. They're going to pick up the pace as Woodhead gets about 7 yards on the ground to the 44-yard line.
I'll tell you what, pretty good job there by the new guy, Ryan Wendell, pulling around and setting that edge.
Again, New England no huddle here at the 44-yard line. 2nd down and 3, controlling the tempo. And you got movement up front. They're going to call this one. It's a free play. Coming across the line was Clay Matthews, drawing the flag. Hit Hockley. Keeping those biceps warm tonight.
Offside, defense number 52. The penalty is declined. The play results in a first down.
So now at the 39, and again, New England going all no huddle on this drive. Woodhead is the back. Fake to him. Brady stepping up. Might have had that one deflected or tipped, and still is able to get it to Deion Branch at the 23-yard line. Pressure was on. The ball came wobbling out of Brady's hand, but got there on target. And Tom's still going no huddle.
That may be the best throw I've ever seen. He only had half an arm on that one.
From the 23-yard line. Here's Brady again handing the ball off to Woodhead. Woodhead, head down to the 10-yard line. First down. Let's go back to the Brady pass quickly.
Go quickly here. See whether or not I think Deion Branch had it. Brady wasn't going to take any chances, though. He was right up to the line of scrimmage.
Got his hands under it. Here's Brady getting it away, and somebody hit his arm just as the ball was released. First and goal. Nose of the ball right at the 10-yard line. Halfway through the fourth quarter. Brady resetting the formation. And then goes to the outside, and that's caught by Hernandez, who takes it into the end zone for a touchdown. They went to work on Sam Shields again, and for the second time he goes to his rookie tight end for 6.
I tell you, it's amazing to be able to flank a tight end out and beat a cornerback for a touchdown on an out route. But what Tom Brady was able to do there, he caught the Packers stuck in their nickel defense, and he didn't want them to get off the field. He had his 2 tight ends out there, base personnel, so he stayed hurry up so he could stay against that grouping.
Shane Graham for the extra point. New England has the lead again with 7:14. Then that lead goes to 4. New England 31, Green Bay 27. So Brady flanks Hernandez out, then hits him. Touchdown. New England on top 31-27. Green Bay in games decided by 8 or fewer points, 7 and 15 since 08 in one-possession games, and they've lost a lot of close ones and a lot of heartbreakers this year, and now they're down by 4 halfway through the quarter. Here's Shields. And Shields, who got beaten on the Hernandez touchdown, with a little bit of atonement here out to the 45-yard line. They set him up near midfield.
It's been one impressive night for Matt Flynn. Here's the first touchdown pass to James Jones that really sort of set the tone for everything else this evening. Stood right in the face of Rob Ninkovich, completed that touchdown, and John Kuhn basically just took care of business on that one. I'll tell you, Kevin Green, before the game, the great linebacker, played so long in the league, said, trust me, Matt Flynn tonight is going to have a coming out party, and it will be impressive. He needs one more.
First and 10, 45-yard line. Inside handoff. Good tough running right here by Jackson. Brandon Jackson takes the ball to the 42, a gain of 13 yards. And for Jackson tonight, 17 carries for a total of 82 yards.
Well, and they are just simply, there's nobody in here. And it's a great call. I'm sure there was no audible by Matt Flynn, but the Patriots were just overloaded to the right. They just happened to catch the right call.
Three receivers set to the right. Little toss to Jackson, but that didn't fool one Patrick Chung. Is that from the safety spot? Second-year safety out of the University of Oregon with the play in the offensive backfield.
Balaga's got to get his head around. There's Pat Chung coming off the edge. He just couldn't make the play. I think Pat Chung's one of the more valuable players on this Patriots team. Not only is he a tremendous safety, one of their best, but he's been able to come down due to some injuries and play the slot corner. You don't find many safeties that could do that.
He had a night of nights in the Monday Nighter in Miami earlier in the season. Second down and 14. With under 6 minutes to play. Flynn over the middle. Wide open right there is Brett Swain, second-year man from San Diego State, who makes his first catch of the night, and that will make it 3rd down and 8 for Green Bay.
Nice play by Josh Sitton, the guard, who's had a nice night tonight. Saw the blitz late, was able to get there. Now gives his offense a chance on 3rd down.
Driver, Jones, and Jennings all go to the right. Now Jones breaks it coming to the near side. Blitz coming. Flynn hangs in. Deep downfield into a lot of coverage and a lot of traffic, and it's incomplete. Intended for Andrew Quarles.
Boy, Kyle Arrington was going at it with Quarles. Tell you what, that's a call that could have easily gone either way. You talk about the cutoffs and not allowed to impede the progress of the. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good no call.
Yep.
I think he just got position and held it.
Agreed. Incidental. Mastay's kick floats one. It's fair caught at the 11-yard line by Wes Welker. 4:52 remaining in the fourth quarter. New England up by 4. Bill Belichick 11th year. Mike McCarthy in his 5th. Matching up tonight in Foxborough. Belichick's team has not had a turnover in the last 5 games. That's already an NFL record, and they don't have one tonight. So they are 4 minutes and 52 seconds away from going a 6th consecutive game without turning the ball over from the 11-yard line. Brady going to work and maybe using some of the clock as well. And he starts with Danny Woodhead. He starts to stumble and he gets out to the 15-yard line. 2nd down.
Well, there's a reason that Tom Brady is probably the leading candidate for MVP of the league. With the money on the line, he was workmanlike going down the field. This throw to me was unbelievable. He got his arm hit halfway through the process and still completed the pass. Danny Woodhead, tough as he always has been. And then the flexibility of these tight ends. We see them in tight blocking. We see them flanked out. And the matchup issues that Aaron Hernandez and Danny Woodhead cause for defenses, tough to describe.
Green Bay taking a defensive timeout, consecutive home wins with a fourth quarter lead. Well, in the entire Belichick era, they have not lost a game when leading in the fourth at 62. Let's go back to his first season. They did lose one in 2000 to Miami, but since then, of course, they began their run in 2001. 62 in a row. It's 2nd down and 6 after Green Bay took a timeout. Now Brady going to work again. And that pass into a lot of traffic at the 20-yard line is caught by Welker, but then they say no, incomplete. Official comes in. It will be 3rd down and 6.
Now, Tom Brady, for all his great abilities, the ability to drive the ball down low so that balls that are missed like that one hit the ground and aren't tipped. He talked about his ability to throw the ball in bad weather, mostly because he can get the elbow high enough and throw it down. Wes Welker missed a big opportunity.
That's a big blessing for Green Bay because they don't have to use another timeout. It's 3rd down and 6. Trying to hold into a 3 and out. Here they come on the blitz. It is tipped. It's up in the air and it's incomplete. And again, Brady nearly has one pick. The pass is incomplete. So Green Bay only had to use 1 timeout, then 2 incomplete passes, and they'll get the ball in what should be fairly decent field position.
A.J. Hawk right out is going to loop all the way around, and as this ball gets tipped in the air, it looks like he's going to have an easy catch. Good hustle by Ryan Wendell to simply knock him to the ground before he can make it.
Zoltan Mesko to punt. Tramon Williams is back for it. Williams from the 38-yard line, trying to cut it back. Can't. Tackled at the 41. So a 4-point deficit.
As it should be for this one. You know, you get the great Tom Brady on one side, and some kid you barely even knew existed except for his play in the national championship game. And here's Matt Flynn with an opportunity in the fourth quarter against Tom Brady to do it. And it's his dad's birthday on top of it.
Well, we'll see if he can give him exactly what Alvin would like to see tonight on birthday number 64. Flynn starts from the 43-yard line. Green Bay 2 timeouts plus the 2-minute warning. 10 to time. Start on the ground. And it's Jackson. It takes 4 Patriots to corral him after a gain of close to 5 yards out to the 48-yard line.
Well, Mike McCarthy, I think, will go back to the same thought process he had at the end of the first half. Get a couple of quick throws out. If they can establish that they're going to throw it quickly, it'll slow down the blitz, and the blitz is the only thing that has really hurt Matt Flynn tonight.
Flynn, he's going to go deep into double coverage again, and it's going to get picked off. Brandon Merriweather will take it back to the 31, and there's a flag down. There's a flag down in the offensive backfield.
Illegal hands to the face. Defense number 95. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Tully Banta Kane, and a huge break for the Packers.
Tully Banta Kane on the outside. Let's see it. Right up underneath the helmet in clear view. No question about it. And what a game-changing moment that is. Now, that's one thing to have your hands up underneath the face mask like that. It's another thing to give the second push. I mean, Ed Hockley's standing within 10 yards of you. He couldn't miss it if he tried.
At the New England 48-yard line, first down. Jackson. To the 40-yard line goes Brandon Jackson, closing in on 100 yards. 20 carries for him tonight, 91 yards on the ground. Patriots with their hands full on a night when Flynn makes his first start. And Green Bay giving them all they can handle, the hottest team in the league, the Patriots, in a game that's going to go down to the wire. 2nd and 3, under 3 to play. Jackson again. And Jackson is close to that first down at the 37-yard line.
Well, Vince Wilfork has to be just about exhausted after playing nearly every snap out here tonight, but he has not stopped.
Hockley's going to measure.
Right up here. Stays on, eyes in the backfield, slips off. That one looked like it might pop back inside, and looks like they're going to be just short.
An inch. There it is. One link.
Well, Mike McCarthy last week in the game against the Lions took a shot in this same kind of situation at the end of the game.
On 4th down.
Exactly. Don't be surprised, because he can always come back here on 4th down and try and pick up the first down if he doesn't take a shot here.
Kuhn is the running back. 3rd and 1. 2.5 to go. Instead, it's a quarterback sneak. He keeps it. He gets to the 35-yard line, and that's a first down for the Green Bay Packers.
You know, the flip side of this is you want to score, but Tom Brady on the other side, you'd like that clock to read about 3 seconds if you did score.
Well, that's exactly the way they're playing it right now, because they're going to let this go to the 2-minute warning. 2 timeouts and 35 yards to the end zone. 2-minute warning in Foxborough, where the Patriots lead the Packers 31-27. Pro Bowl voting leaders, and there they are right now. And the MVP balloting might look like that as well at the moment. Brady on top, Vic second, and Peyton Manning is third. Wendy's post-game report will be following the game, and this one is a beauty, going right down to the end. 2 timeouts, the ball at the 35-yard line. Green Bay, perfect balance tonight. 37 runs, 37 passes. Jackson on run number 38 takes the ball to the 29-yard line, and Brandon Jackson now with 99 yards on 22 carries.
One thing that the Patriots are doing with this backside, they're playing their defensive ends so wide that the cutback has been there, and the Packers keep taking advantage of it. They want to bring their guys outside the tackle. See where they are way out here, which gives you a chance to start inside and bounce it back that way with an easy block by Clifton.
On 2nd down and 4. Flynn rolling against the grain, and then he has to throw that one away. Nobody's open. The pass is incomplete. Jennings is the closest guy to it. It'll be 3rd down and 4 with 78 seconds to play.
I'll tell you, if they line up in that same formation again, I just keep pounding it at them. Your offensive line is winning the battle. You need 4 yards. You're obviously going to go for it on 4th down. But they line up that soft again. Why put it in the hands of the young quarterback? Let the big guys take care of it. Wilfork right in the middle.
Well, if they run it, there would be an inside handoff to Kuhn. Flynn out of the gun. Going to put it up. He's going to throw, and he's going to get the first down. He gets the ball to the 24-yard line. Arrington tackles Driver at that spot, and we tick down to a minute. And now Green Bay is going to take a timeout.
That's their second. It's a 30-second timeout.
Well, the protection's been rock solid all night by this offensive line. And Matt Flynn, when he's not getting blitzed, he is extremely comfortable looking in the backfield. Vince Wilfork tried to go straight to the bull rush, just missed. Driver, the old warhorse on the outside. Who knows when it's going to end for him, but never forget the play he made against San Francisco earlier this year, breaking about 5 or 6 tackles at age 35. One of the most impressive plays of the year.
Well, 12 years in the league out of Alcorn State for years. Brett Favre's favorite target. He said that was the best play of his career.
Well,
1 timeout, 1:05, the ball at the 24-yard line. Aaron Rodgers watching his backup, doing a number tonight. Pressure. Sack back to the 33-yard line. That's Dane Fletcher, a rookie from Montana State. Plays sparingly, comes around the edge, gets a huge sack back to the 32-yard line. And now Green Bay has to take its final timeout. It will be 2nd down and 18 back at the 32 with no timeouts left.
You never know for sure, but I've got to think this is a mistake by Brian Bulaga. They step out. He should have stepped out here. And when he doesn't get there, they end up double teaming the inside guy, and no way that Josh Sitton could get there.
Green Bay they were caught between a rock and a hard place there. Do you call a timeout at that point, your last one? 53 seconds. There was a little bit of indecision. There's a lot going on though. You got a guy who's a 3rd-year quarterback, but in effect in his first start, his first real experience, trying to effect a game-winning drive, and they took their timeout. So now there are none. It is 2nd down and 18 with the ball at the 32-yard line. Flynn throwing to the 28-yard line. That'll be caught there by James Jones. And now they are still about, 16-yard shot. Let's see. They put the ball at the 25, make it 3rd down and 11. 3rd and 11 at the 25-yard line. Half a minute to go. 3-man rush. Pass caught. That is a yard short of the first. That's Driver. They got to get up to the line. You can't spike it here because you've got a 4th down. So he can't spike it. He's looking to the bench. The clock is running down. They got to get to the line of scrimmage. They have to do something here. Well, here's where the inexperience is going to kill him.
Cannot throw in the middle of the field now. Even a completion. Game's over.
You can't. Last play, in effect, without a defensive foul. And he's going to get sacked, and he's going to fumble the ball, and New England's going to come away with a victory. Well, it was a pretty good 59 minutes for the Green Bay Packers and a real ugly last 59 seconds.
Well, you know that Aaron Rodgers would have had a play that he could have gone up and called immediately. Obviously, Matt Flynn has not been able to practice all of the things that he was going to see in that sequence. Didn't have a play, was trying to listen on his headset to hear what the heck Mike McCarthy was trying to call. In the process, they simply ran out of time. Right here, 23 seconds essentially on the clock Flynn's trying to communicate now. He's trying to say, what are we going to do? But he can't get it called. All the offensive linemen looking at him. Aaron Rodgers would have had the call easily made. The inexperience. It took 59 minutes and 55 seconds to show, but it finally reared its ugly head.
It did. At the very end,